Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Some Random Guy Speaks. I'm your host, Tony Love, and we're going to do another one here. This is actually a video. I said I got to start doing more videos as well. So, this video is in regards to the Great Society 1964, 1965. What you see before me is Lyndon B. Johnson, right? You see many of the actual Democrats, right? Because this bill was being signed. We got to keep in mind, this is what the Democrats used to look like, mostly white. The only person that you actually see in this photo is Martin Luther King, right? So from 1965, you didn't really see many blacks as you do, you know what I'm saying, back in those days, because once again, they were white. So I just wanted to point that out. You guys are probably looking at that, and there's a lot of reason for that. Lyndon B. Johnson was a known racist. He never apologized about it, So we're going to be talking about this and things. And there's some other people there, a lot of famous people that was at this signing. He was signing the actual what we call it, the Great Society 1965. Excuse me. So before we go into it, I'm going to show you guys. Let me put this up here as well too. Put this on the stage and remove this. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and add that on the stage here. Many of you guys know who this guy is, right? Mm-hmm. Let me see here. Hold on for a minute. I always seem to forget his name. I mean, but he made some great points. When we talk about, as far as the Great Society, the Southern, what is it, the Southern Strategy, and so forth. So therefore, he made a lot of great points. We also have. Let me go ahead and put him down here too. I apologize about this. It was something that I knew I said I was going to do, but before we get started, because this is a video, so therefore it's no sweat, at all. When you're doing videos, it takes more prep versus live streams, But I said, I talked to my producer, Mr. Ralph. He suggested that I need to do more videos and stuff like that as well, too. So, and he's absolutely right. I got to give him a call back as well, too. But at any event, go ahead and add that in here. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Sowell, the great economist, and things. Some of you guys may know who he is, others may not, and things. So therefore, I want to give him his due, because again, uh, he talked a lot about black issues, right? And unfortunately, because of the people, we're talking about your so-called black leaders, your poverty pimping, and pork chop ministers, and all the rest of them. They basically taught blacks to hate this guy. They said because this guy did not fit the narrative when it come down to black folk, because again, they use the race card, race baiters, race hustlers. They love using the race card because it gives them a position in power, right? And things like that, and so many more. And it creates wealth for them, not for us, but for them. That's exactly what it is. And we're going to talk about it. He was the one, D. Sanusa, right? Denish D. Sanusa, or Sonoza, But at any event, we're going to get down to it, though. So he makes some great points regards to what has been going on. And I like his work. And he's not the only one, but I definitely know who these people are. And then we got, once again, Thomas Sowell, what I'm saying, which is another black great economist, strategist, what I'm saying. He's been doing it for a long time, And we're going to go ahead and talk about that. In fact, I need to put him up on the photo as well, too, here, where he can get his flowers, because this is important. So therefore, because we have people in our community, right, that is speaking out against this. There he is right here. This is the great thinker, right? This is Thomas Sowell right here, right? Think harder. But this is Thomas Sowell. And he wrote many books, many of them. And I got a lot of his Audible books as well too. I've learned a lot. They made sure to keep a lot of so-called blacks away from this man, right? Well, we're gonna go and talk about it. So let's see here. We're gonna go ahead and bring up Danish. Let me go ahead and add him. We're gonna remove Thomas Sowell, and then we're gonna bring up Danish. There we go. So Danish is up here right now. So we're gonna go ahead and play Danish and things like that. And then from there, we're gonna go and talk about some other things. So Danish, take it away.
Race today, because people will say, well, where's the racism in America now, Dinesh? Well, the racism now, I think, is sadly to be seen in what I will call our urban plantations. And by that, I mean Detroit and inner city Baltimore and Oakland and all these places which, by the way, trillions of dollars have been spent. And yet many of these places are just as bad as they were in 1968. Now, do you see Jesse Jackson down there protesting? Do you see all these progressive left-wingers down there? Are they taking a knee against the school board that is running schools where no one learns anything? I was reading a book on the slave plantation, and it described the features of the slave plantation. This is Kenneth Stamp's book, the historian Kenneth Stamp, called The Peculiar Institution. And he says the slave plantation was characterized by dilapidated housing, just broken down slave quarters, by broken families, very few nuclear intact families, by a high degree of violence that was necessary to hold a place together. That's why slave plantations would have sometimes barbed wire fences. By the absence of opportunity, nobody could ever get ahead. Slavery is obviously for life. And finally, by a mood of nihilism and despair. And I ask you, are those 5 features of the slave plantation not now overwhelmingly present, tragically, not only in our inner cities, not only involving blacks, but also on Native American reservations, also in the barrios where Latinos are, and increasingly in white communities, which are economically devastated, where you have high degrees of opioid addiction. This is the America we live in now. And so my message is this. To me, the race card and the fascism card are frauds. They're being played not to have a debate, but to prevent a debate. They are efforts to try to find a group of people and say, you are the bad guys. We don't have to discuss healthcare or education reform or inner city tax incentives or anything with you because you're like Hitler in the 1930s. We've got to get rid of you by any means necessary. And so the charge.
Okay, guys. So I just want to give a little bit in regards to that, but Danish makes a very, very great point. He always makes a very great point. This is the stuff that we're dealing with right now. So therefore, talking about this thing, we're talking about the Democratic Slave Plantation. And this is the original title of what it is, though. And like I said before, I did many lives about this type of stuff. And they do not, I'm talking about the so-called black leaders, the black clergy, right? And things like that, the poverty pimps, right? The pork chop preachers and so forth. There are a lot of them, right? The so-called civil rights leaders, the so-called pro-blacks and so forth. All these particular groups of people that are black, right? They, excuse me, they grift. And when they're grifting from black folks, because it's all about race, fictitious racism. Shouldn't have had those peanuts. But it's all about racism, ladies and gentlemen. Racism, victimhood, lack of accountability, lack of responsibility, right? I'm talking about for one's person, because we have been duped as a so-called black community. Let me go ahead and explain a little further. And when I mean that we have been duped, we have been tricked, we have been lied to by these fictitious, lying, so-called black leaders. Because if you look at it, I'm going to show some photos here too, because we're going to go down and get down to it. I always said, when you look at the inner cities, right? And this is what they used to look like in the 80s. I think this picture was taken in the 80s. This remind me so much of how Detroit used to look in certain places. You know what I'm saying? So you look at it here, they don't look like the suburbs out there. You look at this. Look at the dilapidated buildings. Some of them look like they're about to fall over or fall down. You see what I'm saying? This is basically what it is. Well, what we consider that's supposed to be a so-called black neighborhood. We can tell, you know. I don't know if that street light is even functioning or not. But they've been collecting all this money, ladies and gentlemen. But why hasn't it gone into these so-called neighborhoods? It went straight. When they got the money, you know, these nonprofit organizations, these 501c3s, what do? They just stuff the money right into their pocket. Kickbacks, and so forth, right? NGO programs, kickbacks back into their pockets. Look at what they do. And they're supposed to be the vanguards. I'm talking about the so-called black leaders. They're supposed to be the vanguard of the black community. But we're looking at it here right now. This is the thing. Look at what's going on, right? I got some more though too. So this is one of them, right? Let's look at some of these other photos. These are some of them are dated like in the 60s or the 70s. So I'm going to remove that one and then show you guys right here. Here's another one. You see these buildings and so forth? Let me give you another example. Hold on for a minute. Let me go ahead and show this as well too. Is that somewhat the same one? Look at this one here, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Now you know this is just real bad. Now I'm sure nobody's living in this, but guess what? This used to be a neighborhood. Look at it. Look at this here. We got banded tires. Look at these tires. Look at that sofa over here. I remember looking at this stuff as a kid. This was pretty commonplace in these inner cities, these inner so-called black communities. And this one's probably about in the 1980s, the photo that I pulled up. Look at it. And you know that building is not even inhabitable. You know, this is unfortunately, this is how some or most let's say impoverished blacks live. And it was all whose fault? Well, you know it's our own ultimately because we follow these suckers, right? At least when we were coming up, we didn't follow nobody. It was our parents that followed this crap. Parents followed this stuff. They were the ones, right? They are the ones, ladies and gentlemen. Look at this. Now look at this gas station here. Brown's Auto Repair Service. This is too common folk. Remind you of something off of Sanford and Son, right? You know, when I always seen black businesses operated in the 70s, like mid 70s, late 80s, you know what I'm saying? This is what it is. But this is still, I don't know if this is even a repair shop even anymore. But I know some repair shops that look like this. You know what I'm saying? Look at this. Right? And then what else is common for place? Look at the boy running through the projects here. These people live in these buildings, right? They don't look like the suburbs. I always call this stuff out. Why doesn't it look like the suburbs? Look at this stuff. Right? So yeah, these are the things here, ladies and gentlemen. This is so-called black folk. This is what you voted for. And this is what you got. This is what you got. You voted for this stuff. Let's go and keep it 100. You voted for this. This is what being a Democrat, this is what it means to be a Democrat. You know, what about the single mama, single parent? 72% now. Look at this. This is what most blacks voted for. No accountability, no responsibility. And many of you are afraid to even call out your own so-called black leaders. If this would have been any other group, they would have been strung up a long time ago. Now, I'm not advocating go out here and stringing them up and things like that, but I'm just saying hold your horses. But I'm just saying, though, figuratively, this is something that most people would not sit down and accept. You know, you want to talk about how we doing so much better than slavery? I can't tell. Shit, even in the slave quarters, you know what I'm saying? You had a roof over your head. I'm not even advocating that, but you know what I mean. What's the comparison difference, right? One place you were allowed to stay on, you weren't allowed to leave, and you were allowed to work. The other one, right? You allowed to go and do and be and have and look at what's going on. Just taking a back seat to it. It's sad. You know, we should actually be booing this stuff. We should be booing it. You know, this is sad. This is what we're dealing with. We should not be accepting this type of behavior, right? With all of the so-called black leaders, every last one of them should be not just ashamed, but should be ran out. This is the type of stuff that we're dealing with. This is the type of stuff that you want. These are inner cities, though, because we know a lot of blacks live in the inner cities. This is impoverished neighborhoods and stuff. Look at this. And we can't seem to demand better and want better for ourselves. You got the gas stations over here. Look at this. This is the type of stuff, and it gets a lot worse. This is flattery compared to other images and photos that I can put up here. This is considered flattery. Like I said, neither of these places look like something in the suburbs. Suburbs put people that are responsible, right, and accountable when it come down to the budget, the city budget. You know, they don't blow the budget, mismanage the funds. It goes where it's supposed to go because they know that there's going to be audits, right, and forensic audits and all this other type of stuff. Things have to work like it's supposed to. But when the people in a particular community that won't demand better for their so-called leaders and politicians that they vote for, this is your outcome. This is what you get. This is what you get. Like I said, our parents, we talking about 70s, 80s, they were around, right? But the thing about it is, everybody in their age bracket and range and so forth, coming on down, baby boomers, Generation X's, and all the rest of them, right, have been conditioned to accept the hood. That's why these comedians all the time brag about being in the hood. They brag about this stuff. It's like a badge of honor. You talking about a badge of lunacy and stupidity and craziness. Look at this. And we got to sit up, and we don't have to sit up here and accept this, ladies and gentlemen. But, you know, a lot of these blacks have been conditioned to be programmed and put on Black Code. Black Code by Neely Fuller, right? Don't go against your own brethren, right? You supposed to support them no matter how hard it hurts. Never call them out in public. Never criticize them, especially black women. Never criticize anybody, right? Keep it to yourself. And keeping it to ourselves, this is what it produced. This is the problem with these type of ideologies, man, when it come down to what we're talking about here. These ideologies that we're talking about right now, which is the Black Code. I have a major problem with Black Code. Black Code, ladies and gentlemen, Black Code. Look at this, right? We're going to get into this, though, man. We really are. Just wanted to talk about some of this stuff. So therefore, I said I'm going to start doing more videos and things. Instead of doing my lives for a while, I got to get my video count up. You know, but I appreciate you guys, too. I appreciate my mods, and I appreciate my return people that come into the room. You know, we have debates sometimes and so forth, you know. But for the most part of it, this is foolish to debate. You know, this is foolish. You look at your so-called, I got to put more pressure on the so-called conscious community as well, too. They've been faking the funk a long time. I see you too. So-called conscious community. I see you guys, man. You know, and this is once again, neither of you have actually taken accountability and responsibility of where we are as a people, as a group. All it is just saying, hey, the white man is the problem. You even call the white man the D word, and that's live backwards. I'm not going to say it, but this is how many of them believe. It's our anger and a frustration coming from a lot of these blacks. They get upset, right? When you don't go with the general narrative about racism, which have always been an illusion anyway. It's a theme. It's a spiritual war between good and evil, flat out, and that's exactly what it is. It's a spiritual war between good and evil. You got good people and you have evil people, and evil doesn't have to be defined by race. Evil is evil. There's no different level. When you do an evil act, an evil thought, is still evil. Just like when you do something good, there's no little good. When you do something good, no matter if it's small or large, it's still what we call good. And that's what you guys have been programmed. You've been lied to. This is the reason, right? Look how these blacks, and look at how they're acting now. Many of them, right? Now that the redistricting actually happened, and just for the record, when we look at it, right, with the redistricting, right, there was one thing called gerrymandering. The Democrats been gerrymandering since the 70s. It's a 50-year-old practice, a little over 50-year-old practice that the Democrats have created in regards to these impoverished or these black communities, right? So therefore, they can guarantee the vote. They created more seats by doing this. The Democrats knew exactly what they were doing. They carved it up for themselves. And this is why these black city areas can have more of an impact when it comes down to voting. It's called gerrymandering, right? Now they're upset because their districts have been removed. Because what the Democrats would never, I'm talking about the Democrat leadership and some of these other people, they would never admit to you that the reason, here it is, they won't admit to you that gerrymandering is unconstitutional. This is something that the Democrats created, right? They created this. Now that the redistricting, they calling it Jim Crow 2.0 and all this other kind of nonsense. The reason that these so-called the black clergy, the black politicians, leaders, so-called black leaders, they're all in unison with each other because it impacts their money. You guys going to really start to see now that there's no incentive for blacks to vote for them in a large drove. It's really going to be about policies for real, for real. They're going to actually go on to something else. But right now, they're still pushing the race card. This is something that the Democrats have used as a weapon, ladies and gentlemen. They have weaponized the race card so well. This is why they are able to back up whites and other groups. What they hate about a black conservative, because they have to come at us another way, call us out our names. Big whoop. And I've been called many times Uncle Ruckus and all kind of stuff. But they cannot defeat what I'm saying. They can't debate or defeat what is really going on. Their districts are gone. So you're not going to see a whole lot of support with these so-called black leaders. Right now, they're trying to galvanize, trying to create a lawsuit. You can't sue something where when they created, I'm talking about the Democrats, they created this gerrymandering, which is totally unconstitutional. You can't gerrymander something and then expect to have a lawsuit behind it. That's ignorant. But this is how many of these people view whites and others, like we're going to go ahead, like we're going to accept this thing. It's been already shut down. It's already been decided. It was already said that the gerrymandering was totally unconstitutional. That's all you need to know, right? So therefore, what they so-called blacks, that they care about so much, you're going to see them jump off of them at a point in time. If they find that they can't seem to get anywhere with this fictitious racism stuff, they're going to drop them like a hot potato. Many of them are not even politicians anymore. Like you saw Jasmine Crockett. You won't see Al Werewolf Green. You won't see these people in Texas anymore. You know what I'm saying? Because the districts have been taken back under the Constitution. Theirs are totally unconstitutional. What the Republicans have set up is constitutional, right? We actually have a constitutional presidency, which is what we said, the Constitution, right? The constitutional republic. It's not a democracy anymore. There's a big difference between the two. We have little democracy, but mostly a constitutional republic. That's what we have. This is what the founder and fathers have set up. This is what works. You can see people are mad and upset that this have happened. A lot of liberals, a lot of Dems, and you also have the far alt left. The far left is the most upset and angry because they don't believe in the Constitution at all. They hate America, right? They're even worse than some of these liberal Democrats. They are the worst. They're young, radical, like AOC, right? You also have that dude that out of Tennessee. What's his name? Justin Pearson or whatever like that. You got a lot of these other guys. They grooming Jesse Pearson. He's supposed to be the next Jesse Jackson. Got the afro going on. You know, history repeats itself, right? And that's what it is. They like these guys with these afros and everything. When you first seen Justin Pearson, he wasn't wearing no afro or nothing like that. He spoke very well in the beginning when going into politics. But look how they got him now. We're wearing the dashikis, being all fake and phony. Who was that other guy? Paul Birdsong, trying to rerun the Black Panthers and stuff 2.0 until the daughter of Huey P. Newton shut him down. You know, she said, you would not be using my daddy's legacy, which is the Black Panthers and stuff like that. So they no longer can use the Black Panthers. I think they call themselves the Black Lions. You know what I'm saying? But at any event, these are the people, right? They're put in positions to stir up the blacks. Many blacks get stirred up, emotional, frustrated, want to fight, want to riot, which you better not do. Because they're already waiting on you. You don't want to do that in these southern states. You don't want to do that at all. Listen, you know that the Republicans have a leverage. This is a different time now. You was allowed to do all this type of stuff. Don't let it fool you. Don't let the smooth taste fool you. You don't want to F around and find out. You really don't. So let's go into it. I'm gonna go ahead and play an audio here, which is gonna also talk about some things. And this is from Shalandria. Yeah, there it is. So we're gonna go ahead and play Shalandria, and we're gonna go from there.
The poverty rate largely stalled after 1973, despite continued and expanded federal spending, suggesting diminishing returns from Great Society programs. Economists, including Thomas Sowell and others, have argued that dependency-creating welfare structures actually slowed upward mobility for many low-income families. Head Start's long-term effectiveness has been questioned by multiple federal evaluations, including the HHS's own 2012 impact study showing gains fade by third grade. This summary of Great Society programs reads like a press release from 1965. Yes, poverty fell. But it was already falling before the programs launched, driven by a booming post-war economy. The piece credits federal spending for everything and ignores that the poverty rate largely stagnated after 1973 despite trillions more in spending. Head Start's own federal review found its benefits fade by third grade, and Medicare's role in reducing elderly poverty is real. But Social Security expansions deserve equal credit. When you leave out the costs, the failures, and the counterarguments, that is not analysis. That is advocacy. Black marriage rates declined sharply while poverty continued falling. Poverty, persistence, and dependency. Official rates stabilized about 11. 15% long-term despite trillions in spending. Pre-1965 declines 1950. 1965. From 32% to 17% outpaced post-1965 gains. Murray's Losing Ground 1984 argued programs reduced self-sufficiency incentives. Sowell noted Black poverty fell from 87% 1940 to 47% 1960 before Great Society via migration, jobs, and education, not welfare. Crime surge. Violent crime and homicide rates exploded from the mid-1960s through early 1990s, correlating with family breakdown, then fell sharply after 1990s reforms, policing, and lead removal. Critics. Welfare state replaced one form of dependency, historical oppression, with another, government, undermining work, marriage, and community. Echoing D'Souza's New Slave Plantations in Urban Cores.
All right, guys. So I just wanted to play that. Thank you, Shalandra. Shalandria. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm gonna get your name right. Shalandria. Yeah, so that's exactly what it is. Just wanted to share this stuff. It's not gonna be a long video, it's gonna be a short video, just talking about the problems and things like that. Because let me go ahead and show something else here as well too. Because like I said, we have to know who our enemy is, right? And I've been banging on the enemy even more so now than ever before. We do have an enemy. That's why they say all skin folk ain't kinfolk. There is an enemy, and it's not MAGA. The enemy looks like you and me, lives very well, right? Live out in the suburbs, live in a beautiful, beautiful mansion-style home, right? Gated community, have online or was it on-site protection, which is security of their own. Then I'm gonna show you, I'm gonna show you guys. Just give me one moment here, because you need to know once again. I mean, I think some of you guys already know who these people are, because they don't mean us no good. They mean us more harm than good, right? This is exactly what it is. We already learned about the SPLC, the Southern Poverty Law Center, and things like that. This is another one of the organizations coming from the left, the Democrats, that pay these people. And these people are the ones that go out and call whoever that's against what they have going on, they call them as a racist, right? These hate maps and stuff, and they go after individuals as well as organizations. So let me go ahead and pull this up for this photo. Yeah. It should be coming up here. Just give me one moment. Because like I said, cooking is what I do. And many of us here that are conservatives, we cook these people. Because once again, ladies and gentlemen, they don't mean us no good. They have lied to us. They have taken advantage of us. And right here we go. Here's your culprits right here. Right? These are from poverty pimps, you know what I'm saying, Congress, and we even talk about people that are that are entertainers, right? Like Ricky Smiley, D.L. Hughley, right? James Clyburn, Maxine Waters, Al Sharpton, right? Roland Martin, right? Roly Poly Martin, and there's many more of them. These are the people. This is what the face of what I call the slave owners, right? The slave masters, right? This is what they are right here. They do the bidding for the Democratic Slave Party, right? This is them right here. That's why I say the black grift is over, because now they're going to have to find something else to do. And when they find out with the lawsuit is going to fail, because once the Supreme Court has ruled in the favor of the what we call our Constitution, it's a wrap. You can't sue on that. You can't sue the Constitution. The Constitution protects the people, for the people, by the people. But let these clowns tell it, because you know I didn't want to sue, because they want to keep their positions of power, right? Or their power of fraud and deception. But now that they that's why I say the MAGA Republicans, right, have masterfully uncovered and exposed them, and there's many others too. They no longer can grift, lie in the community, and get that black vote anymore. Black vote means black money, and black money stays in power. Now that their power has been removed. And I believe this is actually ordained by God, man. It's about time that the correction and the reckoning happens. And we're seeing it right now in real time. Do they look happy on their face? Absolutely not. They look very miserable, as they should, right? Because they've been grifting a long time, living life deliciously for a long time. But they left their district. Look at their districts. Like we always say, look at James Clyburn's district over in South Carolina. He has one of the worst districts for a Democrat throughout the United States. You talking about backwoods. I got family members over in South Carolina, and this is his district. Some of those areas is his actual district. You know what I'm saying? Look at what's going on. You think AOC, look at AOC's district in New York. It's terrible. It's not a good district. It's riddled with crime, violence, and drugs. When you go down by the DNC, her office, AOC's office down there, it looked like crap. She's not even there most of the time. That tells you something. There ain't nothing but cosplay anyway. Low IQ self. She ain't gonna deliver to black folk. I mean, she goes and shows up at an all-black church. Man, please, man. Crazy. But other than that, I had to drink my water. But this is what you see before me, right? They're done. I'm just saying it. They're done, and really, we should be actually celebrating, right? Celebrating the fact that these people, these individuals that have grifted, lied, stole, right? I mean, this is a day of reckoning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a feel-good time. Not a feel bad, but feel good. So therefore, I just wanted to go and point this out. I'm gonna go ahead and stop this video. I'm gonna be doing more videos in regards to this, from your boy, Some Random Guy Speaks, Tony Love, and things. So you guys that have been rocking with me on lives a lot and things, and here it is right here. This is the product. What these people and many people before them, right? This is what you got. While they're in their mansions, this is what you got right here, right? Look at it. This is what you got. Poverty. Look at this. Single mama, single parenting. This is what you voted for. This is what you got. You think something's good gonna come in and run down here? Look at this. This is the old project structure back in the 70s and 80s. I remember it well as a kid. Look at this. This was far too routine. From New York to Chicago, in Detroit, and a lot of these other places. You got the park, concrete jungle is what we call it. And then you have projects and stuff. This is your public housing, right? This was the plan, the projects, right? It was a project housing. Talking about affordable housing, talking about we're trying to bridge the wealth gap. Lyndon B. Johnson set us up to fail. He even said, I can have the blacks. Well, he didn't say that, but he said, I can have the ninjas voting for the next 200 years, Democrat. And you could see that his legacy still exists. This photo right here you see is Lyndon B. Johnson, Lyndon Baines Johnson. The only black person that you see in this photo here is Martin Luther King. And look at him smiling. Not fully, because he was calling King all kind of ninjas and everything, if you know what I mean. This is the guy right here. This is the father of the Great Society, right? 1964 was the Civil Rights Bill. 65 was the Great Society. 68 was what we call the Fair Housing Act. There was a lot of things that went down in the 60s. This is why when he did these things, he already knew that blacks were going to be so loyal to the Democrat Party, and they have been ever since. You can't show black folks in general anything other than being a Democrat. They love being a Democrat. They think the Democrats is the way to be. I mean, I'm not even advocating party loyalty, but being a party loyalist, this is what you get. Look at this. Abandoned building with old tires. This is a hazard. There's a safety issue. You would never see this in the suburbs. But why is it okay for this to be done in the inner city? This reminds me of places like Brightmoor in Detroit, because they just use these fields as a landfill. That's all it is. You mean to tell me that nobody in the community, nobody can go down in the city hall, though? Nobody complains. They're okay with this type of stuff. We know it doesn't work, right? All of this and also producing this. Single family parenting from the mother and children, no father. Statistically right now, 72%. No, and don't forget about the Planned Parenthood, Margaret Singer's greatest legacy, right? You do realize that black women abort their children by the millions. This is what we call black death in the black community. It's the number one killer. It's not gun violence, it's abortion, right? Let's go ahead and keep it 100. Abortion, ladies and gentlemen, is the number one reason, or the number one cause to why our numbers never grow, right? We've been duped on so many areas, right? You got these gang members, single mothers, single families, right? They with single mothers and no father, it produces what? Poverty, generational poverty, right? What else does it produce? The kids, they grow up to be what? They go and join gangs, right? The gangs, because they're looking for a father. They can't get it at home, they're going to get it in the gang. You can't tell your kids don't join the gang. When they get impressionable, they want to join up with these groups and stuff. Most of your young men belong to a gang. That's their safe haven. Their way out, so they think. And don't forget about the drugs. Drug dealers, crime, violence, dilapidated neighborhoods, right? Underserved communities, disenfranchisement. This is all coming from the left. Once again, people that look like us, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. Because if these so-called black leaders, black religious groups, and like I said, we should be calling this stuff out. But many blacks don't, because they believe in black code. They believe in protecting their own, not to criticize publicly. It takes great strength and courage to do what I do. There's more blacks doing it now than where it was before. They want to act and pretend like I'm the only person that run around here and wear a MAGA cap. Are you kidding me? There's other people that's out here that wear a MAGA cap. You can't equate a MAGA as being racist. I can show these people and many more of them. Not only that they are racist, but they are outright what we call modern day slave masters, right? They want to keep you on that Democratic Slave Plantation. So therefore, you will never, never, never reach any type of prominence, because you've been taught all your life to hate white people, hate anybody that's doing good, hate foreigners when they come over here. Even though the foreigners have been, let's say, they didn't pull them necessarily, they didn't. Some of them already had a leg up, right? Because in order for the Democrats to get their vote, they had to satisfy them and grease those palms as well. They already greased the black folks' palms already. They don't have to grease them no more. This is why you will never get reparations. Do you realize that they got a bill right now that has been around for at least 40 some odd years? It's called HR 40. It's the study of reparations. That's all. That's it. It was never the plan for them And guess who rally against it? These people right here. They want to lie to you and say, no, it's the white man. That's why we ain't getting nothing. No, because if any of us got reparations, right, they would be out of a job. Come on now. Do you absolutely think that Al Sharpton and what's the name? You already know. Roly Poly Martin. Do y'all think that a lot of these people, right, if we got reparations, they'd be out of a job. Everybody black, no more racism. We got our check. Think about it. It's not no rocket science. It's absolutely what it is. It's not no brain surgeon. That's the thing about it. So no, you will never get reparations because these are your gatekeepers, your talented 10th, the 10%, the lower house of parliament, the bourgeoisie or the boule. There it is right here. And many of them are those and many more gatekeepers. They're not going to have you to rise up over them. They want you to stay in your current position and hate white people for the rest of your life until you die. That's the plan. That's what they're never going to tell you. Because what you think they saying on the upload, yeah, we got to get our reparations. It's a travesty what they have done to us. Sound like he's in the 1800s. Nobody talk like this. I say there. How did Al say it? I say there. What they have done with the white man. He don't really say the white man as much now. He say that's Donald Trump. Donald Trump, we got to stop MAGA. MAGA is the one that's holding black folks back. They have redistricted us. They have bringing Jim Crow segregation back 2.0. We have to fight with all our might. We have to galvanize and come together as a community. And we never came together as a community, even under his watch. Anytime a person that have lost their life, like George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, right? Michael Brown, right? Trayvon Martin. A lot of these people, man, we can go as far back to Yusuf Hawkins, right? That have lost their life, unfortunately. And some of it was a lot that lost their lives on some bull, right? We should be fixing the problem. They come out of the hole, they collect the check, and then they go. You think that Al Sharpton going to be in the hood, let alone at night? He's already saying, man, I got to get the hell out of here. I got to get away from these ninjas. You know what I'm saying? These people do not see us at the same level as them. It's just cosplay. And it's pretty evident that that's what's happening because these neighborhoods that never ever look at it. Look at this. You think they're fixing 72% of single mamas with multiple baby daddies and all the rest of this stuff? You think they want to fix this stuff? They're making money off this, man. Just wake up and look at it for yourself. This is a money maker here, man. And you look and sound like a fool if you absolutely think that these people, right, that I've been showing, these people right here, do you really think that these people right here going to deliver us to the promised land? You got to deliver yourself. You better stop looking for a leader and some type of person. You're supposed to lead yourself. You ain't supposed to be over here allowing yourself to give up. How many black folks have been conditioned to give up? Oh, well, we got your back. We got your back. What Joe Biden said, we got your back. I got your back. What he say? I know black folk got my back and I got theirs. Joe Biden ain't got nobody black's back. You got to keep in mind back at all. He didn't have nobody. He ain't back up black folk. You got to keep in mind Joe Biden is a racist too. He's a racist. This guy's a racist, right? Spoke at the eulogy of Robert Brown, which was a racist, right? Look at it. This is what they were. And these are Democrats. No surprise there. White Democrat racist. Because he was around in the 50s and the 60s as a Democrat. You didn't see blacks, many at all, being a Democrat. Not many. You might have saw a few, but not that many. Mostly white, right? If you look at the 1964 Democratic Convention, it was all white. That's a fact. So there that is. So I'm gonna go ahead and get on off here. I just wanted to share my thoughts and stuff, and how, and like I said, my thoughts and how I see this low down party. The party of slavery is the Democratic Party. The party of the Ku Klux Klan is the Democrat Party. This is the party that has been oppressing black folks, and they use their so-called ninja leaders to do so. And this is why we can't get no get back. This is why we can't seem to get ahead, because it's all been a lie, straight like that. So other than that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and sign on off. I think we had a good video here, though. And I want you guys to please like, comment, and subscribe, though, if you will, please. Thank you so much. We're going to go ahead. I'm going to put one more image up here. I got to do Mr. Ralph. And then we all set, though, I got to do my sponsor here, Mr. Ralph. I got to take care of Mr. Ralph, though, too. Yep, Mr. Ralph. Here we go, right here. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and play Mr. Ralph and things like that. And then because we got to do the thing for the sponsor, right? So so this is what we're going to go ahead and do. Let's go ahead and do that. Oops, wrong one. Sorry about that. So, the social media posts done daily. YouTube, Instagram, X, grow followers. You want to get in contact with Mr. Ralph. Mr. Ralph will help you a one-on-one consultation for free. And he will ask you questions to help you grow followers. If it's shorts that you need, or you just need a script, or just some advice, tutelage, please get in contact with Mr. Ralph. This is who I use to help me grow my viewers. So do not delay. Get in contact with Mr. Ralph. His email address is listed here. So this is something that you need if you are interested in becoming a content creator. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, do not delay. Think of Mr. Ralph for all of your content creation needs. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and that's the sponsor for today. It's Mr. Ralph. Social media posts done daily. YouTube, Instagram, X, grow followers. Get in contact with Mr. Ralph today. His email is listed below. Listen, instead of trying to figure this thing all out on your own, I wish I would have had somebody like a Mr. Ralph back when I first started, forget about all that trying to figure it out on your own, trying to pull up YouTube, trying to watch this and that. You listen to a lot of dated misinformation, right? You may as well go to the source. If you can go to the source and get it for the lows, I would say get in contact with Mr. Ralph. So that's his email listed down below. This is what you want. This is what you need. Go to Mr. Ralph for all of your content creation needs. Appreciate you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to comment on this. Tell me what you think. Good or bad is all good. I prefer the good. But yeah, I would love to hear from you. And you're going to start hearing me or seeing me make more videos like this as well. So therefore, I want to say thank you very much for growing the community under Some Random Guy Speaks. I got my merch store as well and things. So feel free if you want a hoodie or a t-shirt. These t-shirts are unisex and things like that. So I had a special. And I want to thank for my members as well. I got my own members, and feel free to be a member as well. I believe the membership is starting as low as $3.99 up to $6.99. Cheap, not that expensive, right? Be a member once a month. You have access to certain things that are post. You also have there's be an avatar, right? That will come up. And depending on how many years you've been on there, then you'll start, because it'll notify and let me know. I can tell too by the color of some of the caps. So feel free to do that. And super chats are always welcome. Donations are always welcome, though. You know what I'm saying? I don't ask for very much, but there's always welcome. So You don't got to give, but if you would like to give, and some of my members have given, rocking with their boy here, and I appreciate you very much. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, we have brought the house down. I thank you guys for being a part of something great, and that is Some Random Guy Speaks. We're going to show the photo here of Mr. Thomas Sowell. You know what I'm saying? I think he's like up in his late 80s. I do believe, though. Don't misquote me, but yeah, this is our longtime economist. You know, he knows what works. And it's unfortunate that these so-called poor excuse for a black leader shun this man. You know what I'm saying? This man right here, so many books. Check him out. This guy is fire. Check out Larry Elders, too. I forgot about Larry Elders. This is another one. Our intellectuals, right? Our economists. This is the people that you want to be listening to, right? Not these old people that teach you how to hate, right? So other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end in the video. You guys take care of yourselves. Appreciate you so much, right? Appreciate you guys.
Please like, comment, and subscribe, please.
I appreciate it so much. All right. And I'll see you tomorrow on another video. Peace and chicken grease. I am out.